let's, project forward. You're at the 2027 World Cup. You guys go into a penalty kick shootout. Like, would you raise your hand to take one?
Yeah. You gotta have the confidence to do that.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Friendlies. Today, my guest is a young goalkeeper who plays with the calm and resolve of a seasoned vet. She led the NWSL in saves last season and currently has kept a clean sheet in 5 of her 6 appearances with the U.S. Women's National Team. She's an invaluable part of what the Seattle Reign and the U.S. Women's National Team are building. Claudia Dickey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the sweet introduction. I love that.
This episode of Friendlies is brought to you by Verizon, a proud supporter of the global game and the players who inspire us on and off the pitch. As an official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, Verizon is honored to help share the stories of the world's top players, including the incredible women who are changing the game at every level. Stay tuned for more on how Verizon can get you connected to the game we love. All right, everybody, here is Claudia Dickey. Oh my gosh, good. I'm so glad. Well, you deserve it all. I also am not going to lie. I do kind of feel like I know you, but it's probably just because your teammate and my best friend and podcast co-host Lynn Biondolo loves talking about you. And she actually also sings this little song about you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah. She loves it.
Are you going to be so embarrassed if I sing it?
No, but do you remember it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it goes, Claudia, Claudia, look at her dive, look at her go, Claudia.
Yep.
Was that exactly right?
That was perfect. That was even better than how Lynn does it, I think.
Oh my God. Stop.
Don't tell her that, though.
Well, she's probably going to see this. Yeah, I can't wait to send her that. Do you remember the first time you heard Lynn do it? Was she just an older player that you admired and then all of a sudden she's singing your name in a song?
So yeah, I can't even I don't even remember what game it was, but she was obviously when she was injured too. She was standing behind the goal. I think she was bored and she looked at me and I was like, "What are you about to do?" And she was like, "I think I have a song or something that I want to do." And I was like, "Okay." And then she started doing it and then kept adding to it. And then a bunch of the other girls that were out injured with her started doing it. I was like, "Oh my God, here we go."
Oh my gosh. I mean, it sounds just like Lynn. I love it. It's so catchy. And we sing it all the time. We sing it a lot on the podcast.
Yeah, I saw someone send, I think you guys tagged me in or something, or Lynn did. And I was like, not you literally doing it on the internet. But as long as it makes her happy.
It makes her happy. It makes me happy. It even makes some of our fans happy. I don't usually do this, but we got an email from listeners, from Kyla and Megan in Chicago. They wrote in, they said they're huge fans and that anytime either of them does something worth celebrating, they sing their own version of the Claudia song to each other to hype each other up. And their example was when they're doing laundry, they'll sing, "Look at her fold, look at her go." And I just thought it was so funny.
It's so catchy. When she starts to do it, everybody starts to do it. And I'm like, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm also it gets stuck in my head. In warm-ups, I'm just that's what I have to say to myself when Lynn's not there.
It's kind of your own hype up song. And so I imagine you just sing it to yourself when you're about to make a big save.
I don't know if I go that far, but after I'm when she does the claws, I'm yeah, I know you're singing it.
The claws are so good. Okay, being Lynn's muse aside, I want to kind of tell your story for people who might not know the whole thing. You were born in North Carolina. You grew up playing both soccer and basketball, and you were really good at both. Obviously, you're a goalkeeper. I'm wondering if you feel having had this rich, basketball history as well. Do you think that made you better at ball handling?
I'll say this until I go to the grave. I think basketball is one of the sports I played everything growing up, and I think basketball is the one that kind of sets you up for success in everything. It's ball handling, it's vision, it's being able to jump and rebound, it's the core awareness of it. I think just helps you so much when you go and do other things. When I did that, I always felt more athletic and prepared for everything else. The other stuff kind of came more naturally. The vision of it made becoming a goalkeeper, because I wasn't a goalkeeper for a while. I was growing up, they threw me in goal, but I was it was always more fun to play in the field. And then once I started playing goalkeeper, I was this is fun because it's a version of basketball. It's just a little bit slower. That was the problem I always struggled with. It was just always slower.
Soccer was.
Yeah, soccer was. I didn't get as much action because I was a point guard. I'm you're always touching the ball, you're calling the plays, you're seeing everything all the time. So it helped me a lot with that, and, like, stuff like, crossing and
Yeah.
distribution and stuff, that was always easier for me with the timing because of basketball, like, rebounding ball is that's what my goalkeeper coach always says to me, it's like, "He looks like you're rebounding ball." I'm like, "Yeah." That's how I, like, kinda see it.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Well, I played basketball. I mean, I know you played into college, which I'm going to ask about in a second. I
Yeah.
played basketball into high school. And I always felt similarly. Like, I remember it would be like not soccer season anymore. And I'd be doing like sprints on the basketball court and feeling like this is different fitness, but it's so important to like
Yeah.
also do this and do all of this cutting. And I always kind of felt like basketball was like the sport that got away, you know, like I like loved basketball and I think I had less pressure playing basketball.
Yeah.
So it was like it stayed fun like forever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I always people always ask me if I miss it, I'm like, "Yeah." Like, it's like the freedom of going out there. Obviously, it wouldn't be that way if you played in the WNBA or anywhere else,
Yeah,
but, like,
true.
in college and, like, my high school wasn't that good, we were never known for sports, but, like, I got to go out and, like, just, like, have fun and be able to do that. That was always so fun for me. Growing up, I definitely had more fun playing basketball, but I knew that my career was always gonna be soccer.
I actually feel exactly the same way. That's so funny. And I think it's so incredible and crazy. I just learned this about you that you actually played basketball at UNC and you played soccer, which is so unbelievable. I know you only did it for one season, right?
Yeah, 1. Yeah, I quit the 2nd year.
How did you balance that for even one season?
It's a running joke with my parents, I really struggled with school because I was always
You're like,
doing
I didn't balance
yeah.
it.
I didn't basketball in college, there's a lot of my friends I played with that played, like, soccer and lacrosse or that you know of, that are opposite seasons, but soccer overlapped, like, we would go into December with UNC soccer, and the basketball season starts in October, so even the 1st year when I came in, like, summer training was always basketball. The schedule for basketball was insane, it was like we would do 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning in the summer, and then you obviously have class, and then soccer practices the afternoon. But, like, the
So class
basketball
is kind of
regiment
like,
yeah. Class
yeah.
was a lot it was I can't even, like, look back and explain how I got through that, I must have been so tired. But, like, I came in, like, 2 months late, and obviously at that point, UNC was, like, up one of the better teams, but we weren't, like, South Carolina, like, LSU, all these teams. So, the ACC was a little bit easier, but, like, coming in, I was like, "No." Like, I felt fit because I was coming off of soccer, but that was about it. Like, I had 30 plays to learn. I had to go straight into the travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a lot.
The plays, and this is the last thing I'll try to relate with you about playing basketball because obviously you were way better than me. But the plays, I
Mhm.
remember being like, "This is my like weak spot." Like,
Yeah.
I don't really like know what you mean by this. I remember also like I would get picked. And my coach was like, "No, you have to go around the front of the pick, not the back." And I was like, "I'm not. I'm incapable. So like, I like also have to quit."
Yeah. So that was the final straw. Being a point guard too, I had to know all the plays. The coach would tell me
Yeah,
what to call, like, I had to be able to put that in, and I was like, "I literally just got here." Like, I did not play a lot,
it's a
like,
lot.
having to miss the 2 months and everything and just coming in, but I knew soccer was my main, but,
Yeah,
like, to be on the team, I wanted to be on the team and, like, play a couple minutes here and there
yeah,
when I was actually consistent in training. The regiment of basketball versus soccer, obviously, it's a big deal, but, like, you're only on the field for an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. Basketball, you're in the gym for, like, 3 hours, you do shooting, you do strength, and then you do plays for an hour, like, nothing's really high impact except when you're, like, scrimmaging, but, like, the plays we'd do for, like, 2 hours, we'd have film for 2 hours, it was crazy. Like,
oh my
we think
gosh.
soccer is a lot, basketball's
Well,
crazy.
and the fact you were trying to do school is actually so crazy. But I could talk to you about basketball all day. We do have to get to some of the soccer stuff. I think that if I'm getting this right, like soon after you decided to stick with soccer, you wound up at a U20 national team camp. And you're there with players like Naomi Girma, Trinity Rodman, even some of your current Seattle Reign teammates, Sam Meza and Mia Fishel. Plus, your coach at that event was
Was
your
Laura.
current Seattle Reign coach,
Yeah.
Laura Harvey.
Yeah.
Is there anything you remember about your early relationship with Laura or even just, you know, those early days of camp with all those teammates of yours that kind of made you be like, okay, I think I made the right decision. This is the right place. This is the right sport.
Yeah, that was actually so going into 2020, which is COVID, is the year I decided to quit basketball. Like going in, I was like, oh, I have this opportunity to go to the U20 like qualifying.
Okay.
And I was talking to the
Okay.
basketball coach, and she was like, well, you can't miss. Like I already missed 2 months. She's like, you can't miss another two. Like now is the time to decide. And I was like, well, I'm not going to say no to going to
Yeah.
this big tournament for the US to maybe play in a World Cup. And I was like, okay, I guess this is the time. And it was a really hard decision, but I was like, I had my future is soccer. And then like going there and then being there, and we were we were so good, that team. And like Soph and Nay and Mia, my mom always looks at pictures and sends them to me. Everybody on that team is like playing now professionally somewhere
That's
or
so
like
cool.
MVP. Yeah, we were so good that Laura always laughs about that. She's like, we would have totally won the World Cup. I'm like, yeah. But then
But did it get canceled because
yeah, because of COVID.
COVID?
Yeah, we were there at camp and they were like, yeah, there's this thing called COVID. We don't know what's gonna happen. And then like a couple days later, they're like, well, we don't really know if we can get you guys home. And we're like, okay, what's happening? Like we're not getting stuck here.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't say anything after that camp really. It was just like COVID happened. Like a
Yeah.
week later, everything shut down.
I know. I remember I was in camp too with the national team when it all started and they were like, fly back to where you want to be. And I was kind of like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And then the Olympics got postponed and it must have been around the time like things just like started getting canceled. Let's come back to this. The other thing I read about your time in college was that you actually had an opportunity to train with U.S. Women's National Team longtime goalkeeper and America's uncle, Alyssa Naeher. Do you remember that? And what was that like for you?
I grew up with Pooley. He was from Charlotte, and so he would train Alyssa all the time in the off season. I'm like 16, 17. And then as I went into college, when I would come back home, and he would like text me on a random Saturday. And obviously in high school, like senior year, like all my friends are going out, and I'm like, guys, I have to be up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow because Pooley wants me to train. Like I can't go out.
And Pooley is just a great goalkeeper
Oh
coach. He was
yeah,
the goalkeeper coach for the national team for a long time and trained
yeah.
Alyssa and you.
Yeah. He was my youth coach, and then
Okay.
he got called up, or he went to Wake, and then he got called up with the full team. He's like, "You
Yeah.
won't see me a lot, but, like, when I text you, I need you to come out and trade." And I was like, "Okay, sure." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And I think he's my coach for, like, 4 years. I love him to death. I wish he could go with me everywhere, but, family. But Alyssa would come random weekends and he'd be like, I need you at the field at like 8 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. And then I would train with her. And then I remember he was so tough on me then. He was like, you need to perform better in front of Alyssa and do this and that, right? And I'm like, you're right, but you're stressing me out. Like I'm
Yeah.
already like scared enough of her as it is. Like I look up to her and I'm like, but he knows. To this day, I'm like, you doing that has helped me get to where I am.
That's amazing. And what was Alyssa like in those trainings? Do you think she thought you were good?
No, there's no way. She was probably like, "Who's this kid?" I was like I was so, like, nervous trying to do anything. At that point, I knew I was playing in college, but I was like, "Okay, I wanna go out there and, like, do my best for her and, like, not mess up," and I'm like I remember so many times messing up, I'm like, "Well, I guess there go my dreams." Not really, but
I know it's so tough. I feel the same way about like when I was like newly on the national team, like all I wanted was for the older girls to think I was good. And I remember there was this like one phase of my career where I really wasn't playing like in games, but I was doing really well in training.
ugh,
And like Tobin Heath came up to me and was like, Sam, like everybody's talking about how good you're doing, like just keep doing it. And I
oh,
literally was like, me? Like it meant
me?
so much. Like
Yeah,
those girls you look up to that you just have so much like reverence and respect for when they think you're good, it's kind of all that matters.
yeah.
So I like totally get that. So the other thing that I know Alyssa would be proud of that I watched this video of you today, you became a goalkeeper just like Alyssa who stops and scores penalty kicks. In the clip that I watched, Claudia, that was during the run of play when you took the penalty kick. What?
Which one did you watch?
It was like a semifinal against,
Yeah, it was
was it
Virginia.
against Virginia?
Yeah.
What do you mean you ran up during the run of play to take a penalty kick? Were you just that good at penalty kicks?
At UNC, we do, like, you probably know, like, that he subs
Keeps track of
Anthony.
everything.
Well, but he subs a different group on, like, I think it's 30 minutes in the first half. He does this
Yeah.
subbing thing, and it's, like, consistent all the time, and, like, the first group, I don't remember who's on the team that year, had one, but the second group didn't have one, but we keep track of everything, and he was like, "You always win this, like, you should take it if it happens in a game." I was like, "Okay," because I love to it's just, like, fun for me. I'm like, goalkeepers are good at scoring despite what everybody thinks, like, I feel like we know how.
True. You strike the ball so well.
Yeah, but we know what not to give away kind of too, and we kick it hard because that's our job. So then it there's, like, no
Oh.
stress in it because if you see me in training all the time, I'm sure Lynn could tell you, I'm just, like, shooting when we're, like, in between drills or something or, like, doing a PK. So it's not like obviously I'm nervous going and doing it, but I think it's so fun.
Oh my God, I'm like blown away. I want to ask a million questions about like the team like tactic. Like, did a defender just like go stand in goal, like just in case? Like, what did like were you gonna sprint back or did you just like know it was gonna go in?
Think there was someone back at halfway. We never really practiced it that much. It was just like, if it's gonna happen, and it only happened twice in, like, 4 years.
I just like I know I we talk about how Alyssa has done this and steps up in a penalty kick
Oh,
shootout
yeah.
and scores and makes a bunch of saves. I just like I need people to realize that you did this during the game and that that's like so different. I want to like link to this in the show notes if we can because people need to watch this. I do also want to know if you would volunteer now. Like let's project forward. You're at the 2027 World Cup. You guys go into a penalty kick shootout. Like, would you raise your hand to take one?
Yeah. You gotta have the confidence to do that.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
Oh, yeah, it's so f I literally I love I'm not confident that I'm gonna score every time, but I'm like, if there's an opportunity, like, I've been through enough that I'm like, I know some people get nervous, especially, like, younger players. Like, we had one in the college shootout in the final and we lost. And I'm like, I know that I mess around and take them all the time, but, like, I believe in myself. And, like, at least I'm gonna kick it hard enough to where if they get a hand on it, it's probably gonna hopefully still gonna go in.
I like love that. I was terrified of PKs, but I also just kicked it really hard and
Yeah.
like agree that usually if you kick it hard enough, like you have a shot.
As long as you don't
Okay,
kick in the air,
Claudia.
yeah.
Yeah. Tr- True. So stressful. It's like the one thing I probably miss penalty kicks the least
Yeah.
of all of my soccer things. Okay, I'm blown away by your penalty kick prowess. I cannot wait to see you continue to score them. I'm going to make such a scene about it. I'm going to do the song and everything. I do want to move ahead into your professional career. You got drafted into the NWSL in 2022, 20th overall by Seattle. There is video of this moment, and I'll assume from some context clues in the video that you knew you were going to Seattle, maybe because your relationship with Laura Harvey had, previously existed from your youth national team days. What was that moment like for you and your family knowing you had been in North Carolina, you were born there, you went to school there, and now all of a sudden you have to go all the way to Seattle?
I kind of wanted it, like, my whole life, I felt like because everything I knew and grew up with was North Carolina, I always wanted to go somewhere different, like, even for college, I was like, my first thing on the list was and I never like, I probably was, like, 12, 13. I was like, "I wanna go to Stanford to just be far away, like, I want to be far away from you guys." As in my family, I'm like, "You guys bug me all the time, just, like, get me." And then I both my parents went to UNC, so I was like, "Ugh, I'm not
Oh,
going there."
wow.
And then I ended up going there and I loved it. Like, I'm so happy I went. But then once it got to that, I'm like, I need to leave. Like, I love Charlotte to death and I love everybody in North Carolina. My whole family basically still lives there. But I've always wanted to be somewhere different. And I don't think staying there would have helped me in that way. The sun's getting so bright. Let's see if I
Oh
can
my
move
God, I
over here.
know. I was just like, wow, is she really in the sun there?
Yeah, the sun's actually out today in Seattle and it never happens.
I know. I mean, I feel like you've got to enjoy it while you have it.
I was talking to them like, my family and obviously my parents, and I laugh about it every time my mom leaves me, she still cries. But I was like, "Mom, I need to do
Oh,
something different." And it was obviously scary, like, I didn't know I knew, like, Laurel was here,
Laurel Ivory, yeah.
like, I knew of Olivia Athens because I had played with her, I'm trying to think. I didn't know who else was getting drafted yet at that point.
Uh-huh.
And then you obviously know of Pino, you know of Jess, you know of Lou. But I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be very different, and the weather is very different, and the people are very different." But it took me kind of I don't think I really thought about it until I got here. And I was like, "Wow, the first couple months was hard." And I did have my dog, so that helped a lot. It was definitely like a wake-up call, and every time my parents would come to visit, I was like, "You guys can stay longer if you want."
Oh.
I think it helped me grow a lot and become like I think I've always been independent, but I've never wanted to rely on my parents all the time, and I think it helped me with that, like, being able to make my own life and do what I wanted away from everything I was so used to. And I don't think it was, like, obviously, I knew Laura too, so that part wasn't scary for me. But it was just, like, the opportunity to play and, like, learn from all these players here because I knew I wasn't gonna play right away. It was just exciting, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm." And then I signed again, and then I signed again, so I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I do love it here." It's still
Yeah.
far. It's to go home, it's far every time, but
I know.
it's worth it.
I know. It is far. Well, I mean, that season, your team won the Shield. You said you knew you weren't going to play, and you didn't play. You didn't make your professional debut that first season as a rookie. Your future and current national team teammate, Fallon Tullis-Joyce, was then the starting goalkeeper in Seattle. And I think this is something I want to talk to you a little bit about is like how patient goalkeepers have to be and how your mindset must be so unique to go into a situation where you know you may not play yet. And so, as a rookie, leaving home for the first time, becoming a professional for the first year, what was your mindset like? And what did you hope for yourself in that first season?
I think initially it was obviously me, Laura Ivory, and Fallon. We were the youngest goalkeeper group in the league by a lot. I think there was always, like, one that was a lot older, and obviously I think Fallon's 2 years older than me, maybe a year and a half. So Laura was like, "Yeah, you can come, like, fight for a spot," and, like, the first year probably not, but, like, the years after for sure. Being a goalkeeper is so hard because you know you're not gonna play. As the 3rd string, you kinda have to do everything for everyone else in terms of, like, if players wanna do really close shooting and you're basically getting screwed the whole time, you have to be the one to do that. And you stay, like, when you don't travel, you stay and do, like, the different sessions and
Hmm.
everything. Yeah, all of that stuff is definitely hard, but I think and I definitely struggled with it at first. It was like I was in a new place and I wasn't playing, and, like, all of my joy comes from, like, physical activity in my life. So I was like, "Okay, I need other things to do." I think that was hard for me, but I made a lot of good friends, like Sophia Huerta. I My dog and her dog became, like, best friends, and we spent, like, every day just, like, walking them together and doing everything.
Oh,
And I think that helped me a lot, like, having something to do outside of soccer, especially when I wasn't playing, I needed, and I feel like since I've been here, I've learned that, like, I know what works for me and
yeah,
what doesn't. Like, I like to go to sleep at, like, 10 every night, and then I wake up and I, like, go for a walk. Like, those things I learned a lot more about
amazing.
myself
Hmm.
when I wasn't playing, and I've kinda, like, even as I've been playing over the years, I've tried to stick to those as best as I can.
That's really amazing. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody explain it like that before of how you kind of have to get to know yourself in a different way when you're not playing and figure out other things that will make you happy and bring you joy and fulfillment in your life, like off the field, because you're not necessarily always getting that from soccer. And I also think that, your success now being the starting goalkeeper for Seattle and being potentially one of the starting goalkeepers for the US women's national team, it will make you so much more relatable to the other goalkeepers in your I know it's called like the goalkeeper union. I don't know if I'm like
Yeah.
such a loser for saying that out loud, but whatever team you're on, I think it will like you'll have kind of empathy and like a bridge between you and the third string goalkeeper. And you'll be like, I've
Yeah.
been there. You're doing great at this. Like, this is what helped me. And I feel like that relationship is so valuable, especially myself having been somebody not as a goalkeeper, but who like didn't get playing time for a long time.
Mhm.
And I do want to ask a little bit more about that relationship that very, very like sacred goalkeepers group. I know you guys are always like off training on your own together, but kind of like what you're saying, and I relate to this so directly as well. Like the other midfielders were sometimes my best friends and the people I spent the most time with, but also my direct competition. And so it was really hard to like separate that sometimes and have like, not be like jealous or not be like constantly comparing myself. And I think as in a goalkeeper position, it's so uniquely like specific. You're always together, but it's directly like she's playing over me. And I was curious how you've handled that over the years.
I think it's hard, like, I still especially when I was going into camp the first time, it always takes a while to, like, understand the dynamic. What helped a lot for us when I first got to the Reign was we were all young, and, like, we were just, like, there, and we had Rocky, who's now with Kansas City, but he just made it so fun. It was, like, we knew that Fallon was gonna play, but Laura and I were like, "You know what? We're just gonna, like, have fun with whatever we can outside of like, the direct training, like, if it was days that Fallon needed stuff specific to her, we were like, "Okay, yeah, this isn't our favorite, but we'll have fun after, or do this and that," and I think having that good relationship with all of us, it it's obviously hard, like I said, to not play, but, like, knowing you're not gonna play and, like, trying to still have fun while you're doing it is what matters. We changed lot my 2nd year. Actually, all 3 of us were still there my 2nd year, and then the next year, Fallon had left, and we got another one, and it's just I feel like it's so seamless here in camp. I think it's people the goalkeeper coach there now, I think he struggled, Stewart, 'cause I'm very I wouldn't say different, but I have a terrible ADHD, and I think that at first it, like, really stressed him out trying to figure it out, but I'm more like, I wanna have fun and, like, laugh and, like, joke a little in training, and obviously people are very different, but, like, that's always worked for me, and I feel like if it's a good environment, like, we should be
Mhm.
able to have fun with each other even if we're competing, like, no one wants to sit there and not compliment each other and not hype each other up when something good happens. I'm like, I hate that type of environment, especially with Stewart now. I think he understands that, like, I still am very focused, but, like, I like to have fun and, like, we play, like, little games at the beginning, and it's just I think goalkeeper can be so tough sometimes. You're the last
Yeah, there's
one.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, so I think being able to have fun with it even when it's serious, even when the game's on the line, obviously, I'm not joking and laughing in the game, but, like, in training, if you're just miserable, nobody's getting better, nobody's having fun. My attention span is just different, so I do think
Yeah.
it's, like, the way I move is different, and everybody thinks it's so funny that I'm just like, that's just how it has to be for me, like, that's what works for me. I would much prefer to have fun than just be sad and hate what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Well, I mean, one, it sounds like such an enjoyable environment to be a part of, and I'm glad to hear that you like your personality sounds like it's able to like create a positive environment for all of the goalkeepers, and I love that. And then two, it really seems like it's working. Obviously, eventually you became the starting goalkeeper for Seattle, and in 2025 you were impossible to ignore. You led the league in saves. You had 7 clean sheets. You were nominated for goalkeeper of the year. You were voted most valuable player by your teammates for Seattle. So you spent your first season as a rookie, like on the bench. Your second season, you had to like really fight for that spot. And I know in your third season, you were recovering partly from an injury. So coming into 2025, like what changed? What was different? Like, did mentally anything like shift for you?
Like, I've talked about it with Spencer, my agent, multiple times. It's like the prime for goalkeepers is always older, and he'll always
Mm-hmm.
say that to me, and I'm like, "I don't like that." Like, I get it because it's about experience. Like, goalkeepers 100% about experience and, like, who's been there and competed in this and that environment, but I'm like, I don't wanna be 30 when I start to play well or start to be in my prime. I'm like, I just wanna, like, be the fittest I can be and the happiest, and I think going into last year, part of that, I was like, we struggled a lot the year before, a lot. Like, the environment wasn't great, mostly because we were losing. Probably all because we were losing and we were struggling a lot and we just couldn't figure anything out, and, like, I was in the goal and I'm like, "This is terrible." Like, I refuse to let it be like this again. Going into this year, the team's gonna be very different. We're a lot younger last year, and I was like, "You know what? Like, we're gonna have fun this year, even if we're bad again, like, I can't do another year where, like, we go in every day and, like, can't really talk about things because everybody's upset because we lost." I'm like, "At least we're all going down together in, like, a healthy way this year, and I think it was good, like, going into last year, having the young people brought a lot of, like, excitement and, like, competition and energy, and I think it was good for us. Like, I don't really know what changed that much with the team too, but, like, the dynamic just got better, and I feel like I started to do more things that I needed. Like, I brought up my rookie year, I started those things, but I never really, like, gave myself, like, 100% in all those things. Like, I was still doing things for other people and, like, exhausting
Mm.
myself doing extra stuff, and I was like, "You know, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna focus on myself and what I need," and I think that gave me, like, a clear mindset throughout the whole year. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, preseason's long, everybody hates it, but, like, it's gonna be fun. We're in California," and we did, like, the Coachella thing in the villas, and it was the best thing
Oh
ever,
yeah.
and it was, like,
Oh
such a different
wow.
yeah, it was like Len was there.
That was
It was
like the
such a
preseason
different
tournament, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like the team was so different, and it was just, like, kind of a fresh start,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'm tired of, like, the last like, I didn't play my first year. The last year was, like, kind of injured, kinda playing. Like, I don't feel like I've actually proven myself. I'm like, I know there's so much more for me to give, and, like, there
Yeah.
still is. Like, I still get mad at myself for the smallest things in training, but I'm like, I know that I can be so much better. I just need to keep being hard on myself.
I mean, what a mindset. I'm like so glad that like I'm hearing this from you. I love hearing it. It sounds like that mindset and mentality that you have been bringing all along, but that you're like really learning to sharpen is like leading to all of this success. Obviously, you had such a great 2025. Emma Hayes took note. You got your first call up to the national team. You made your debut against Ireland over the summer where you kept a clean sheet. And again, I'm kind of like, you've been preparing for this for so long, but knowing you were going into your first cap with the US women's national team, were you nervous? Like, how did you handle that? Or did you just stay consistent with this mentality?
I'm very, like, neutral. Like, even when Lynn does the thing and I wanna get like, I don't really get excited. Like, so a lot of goalkeepers I feel like get really hyped up or, like, really excited, and that's really never been me. It's never really worked. Like, if I was like, I'm super excited and acknowledging the fact that, like, this has been my dream since I'm a kid, but I'm not gonna play well. Going into the game, I was like, "It's just a game," basically. Like, I was talking to my family and I think my friends, I'm like, "Right now, just don't tell me anything. It's just a game." And obviously, you're playing with the best players, some of the best players in the world, so, like, going into it, I'm like, "Okay." I'm pretty sure I played with Sonnet or someone in that game that I played with at the Reign, and I'm like, "As long as I'm playing with them, I'm good." Like, I step out in the field
Yeah.
with Naomi and Sonnet, I'm like, "I'm good."
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna make me look good. Even after I don't even think I stopped to think about that that was my actual dream since I was a kid until, like, probably the end of the year. Because when you're in
Yeah.
it, you know how it is. Like, when you're in it, it
Yeah.
it just feels like another game kind of, especially because it's in the middle of the season. And I was like, "This is cool."
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear you talk about it too now. Like, and actually, this is something Lynn says all the time: don't get too high, don't get too low. And I think in your career, you kind of have to live by that because otherwise you're on a roller coaster of emotions literally
Yep.
all the time. I think something I say a lot is like when I was at the peak of my career, I had no idea. Like I thought I was still like this young up and coming, like nobody who was just lucky to be there. And I like wish I had more perspective in the moment, but you can't. And I like
Yeah.
totally get that. I think it's incredible that you're able to like reflect on it and appreciate those moments for what they are. And they have led to more and more. I mean, as the year went on last year, you earned 6 caps with the US women's national team. You started all 4 of the last games, which is such a huge accomplishment for anybody, but especially a goalkeeper. I feel like some goalkeepers are on the team for years and they never get 6 caps. So it was such like a big statement coming from you in your first year with the team. What has that been like to transition into kind of a regular goalkeeper for the US women's national team?
I don't see I still think of it like it's like my first one going into it, like, every camp
I
I get the
know.
email, you're like, "Yes." The way you said it is kinda how I feel like, not that necessarily this is my prime, and my prime is nothing compared to yours, but, like, if this is what it
Stop.
is, then I'm like, I would never know that, like, I'm kind of
I
just moving
know.
on it. You get the email and you get really excited, or you get the preliminary, you get really excited, you get the email, you're like, "Yes." And then you're there and it kinda like it goes by really fast, like, going into it, you're, like, stressed about performing and being healthy and if you're fit enough and if you're gonna perform,
Yeah.
and then you're there and it's over, and then you leave and you're like, "Oh, well, I hope I go to the next one." It's not like a stressful, it's a good stressful, and I'm like, every time I go in, I'm like, "I love being here." And then it's over. I'm like, it's so fast. I'm like, "Oh god, I love playing with all of these amazing people." And then you leave and you're like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll see you in 3 months." Hopefully.
Yeah, it's I
Yeah,
know it's literally always like I hope so. Like if I
yeah,
get called in, I'll see you. If you
yeah.
get called in, you are obviously going into these upcoming friendlies. It's such a young group, which is very very exciting. She believes is right around the corner. World Cup qualifying is coming up later this year. How do you view your role in a camp like this one? Like what are you focusing on to help the team prepare for another big year ahead?
I went to the last one in June, that the younger group going in is obviously really nervous. Like, I have 4, I think there's 5 of us, so 4 of my teammates going.
Oh my gosh, yes, your
Yeah,
Seattle Rain
I
teammates are
know. And
going.
I'm so excited for them, and they're, like, asking me questions. I'm like, "Look, it's okay. Just relax. Like, I'll be there for whatever you need." And I was like, "The only thing that it's a lot of is meetings, but, like, everything else, you'll be good."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just perform, don't overthink anything. I think it's good, like, having the young energy. They're very different than me. I feel like I'm, like, a 26-year-old in a 50-year-old's body. Like, I like to read, and I like to sleep early, and I like to be in my room. I like to like cards and all that stuff, but I'm like the TikTok and stuff, the dances and everything, it's not really me. But, like, that's the team now, I feel like, and it's so fun
yeah,
for people to see that, and, like, my teammates going into it, I'm so excited for them because I feel like it's everybody's dream to go, and to get, like, 1 opportunity or to get 100,
totally.
it's, like, it's so special, and I think it'll be good, like, I wanna try and be more of a leader of this group because not that I have the experience yet, but, like, I know what it's like, so, like, I wanna be able to be there for them and be there for anybody that's going that needs advice or wants to talk about what they need to do or focus on or what not to say and, like, how the meetings are when you get called on, and I'm like, I still get embarrassed every time I get called on, but it's just a part of it.
I know. I love that. I agree. I think like the youthful energy kind of reminds everybody what it means. Like there's nothing like seeing somebody at their first camp or get their first cap because
Yeah.
all over again you get to be like, "Oh my god." Sometimes you get caught up and you forget like how special it is and what it means to somebody who's there for the first time. So that like new energy is I think really important to keep as a part of the team. And also, Claudia, I'm like hearing you talk and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like wish we had ever played. I'm like way older than you, but I feel like we have a lot in common and I would have loved to be friends. So maybe we can be friends now. I only have a couple more questions for you. Clearly, you have been so like thoughtful about your career and the path that you've been on. And so when you look ahead to the next couple of years, we're in this build up to the 2027 Women's World Cup. Do you envision yourself on the roster, on the field, and how does it feel to even imagine that?
I feel like it's like jinxing yourself if you say that, like, I feel like you dream of it. Like, I want it more than anything, but I'm not gonna be like, "Yeah, I see myself there," just so it doesn't, like,
I
break
know,
my
I get
heart if
it.
it doesn't happen, but I think it's, like, to think about representing your country at the World Cup, it's like everybody that plays soccer has always dreamed of that, and I think watching it like,
Hmm.
I've watched my friends go and play, or, like, I've watched the Euros or the Olympics, and I'm like, it's so special to, like, think of representing your country on the biggest stage, and I think, obviously, I want that more than anything, I'm gonna do everything that it takes to get there. For me, looking forward to that, it's like, it's performing every day in training, it's performing every day in games, and, like, having fun, like, I think I struggle the most when I'm overthinking things, like, my first camp, I left and I was like, "Wow, I was terrible, like, they'll never call me back in again." And it probably wasn't gonna happen, but I actually did well in the year, and I was like, "Well, I don't remember you at the first camp at all, like, you didn't really do anything to stand out," and I was like, "I agree with you, I was terrible." The whole camp, all of those trainings, I was just so in my head, and I was, like, overthinking every little thing, and it wasn't fun, I was just, like, not having fun, I was nitpicking
Hmm.
everything, and you get in your head, and then you can't catch a ball, you can't kick a ball. Going into the second camp, and obviously I talked about it with people. I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go back in and just, like, have fun and enjoy being there with my friends and, like, playing with these people again and just, like, doing what I love." And if I perform on, if I get called back in, then yeah, I would love that, but, like, I don't wanna do what I did the first time. So then going in, like, however many camps are left this year, like, if I get called in, that's kind of my mentality, like, it's not worth it for anybody to, like, be sad going into it or stress about it or overthink anything, like, you're not gonna perform well, and then not that you're letting your team down, but, like, at the end of the day, you're letting yourself down.
Incredible. Again, I wish I'm glad you're there and hopefully, taking this advice yourself but giving it to some of those younger players because this is what pretty much everybody in camp needs to hear. And so the fact that you've like come to this and you're able to execute it and implement it is like so impressive already. My last question off the field is going to be so easy, I hope. I've been fascinated just hearing you talk about all of your off field interests. You like to go for walks and I assume hikes and read books and go to bed early. I love going to bed early. I'm so excited to go to bed soon. But I have like, it's a little bit late for New Year's resolutions, but I do have like a 2026 like intention
Ooh,
that I'm gonna like learn how to roast like chicken and like get good at it. So I'm like trying to
wow.
do one a week. And I'm wondering if you have any like off field like intentions or goals or like anything you're thinking about this year and like your life away from soccer.
One of them would be spending more time with, like, my family and friends, like, I feel like a lot of the time after training, I wanna come home and, like, be by myself, and, like, I just bought a house, so, like, be in the house and, like,
Oh,
actually enjoy that,
congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
I never get to be here, but Um, like, actually, like, going out and doing things, like, I would much rather just go home and watch a soccer game or play with a dog or do this and that, and I'm like, that's very much my comfort zone, and, like, once it hits 7 p.m., I'm like, "Okay, guys, I'm going home." But, like,
Gotta get
agreeing to
ready for
do
bed.
more yeah, I like, agreeing to do more of those things. I really don't like to do any, like, insurance and tax and money stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So
I hear ya. It's all coming for you. I hate to tell you this, but it only gets worse.
oh, yeah, the au I have everything clicked on autopay, and I was talking to my financial advisor earlier, and he was like, "Wow, do you have, like, what you pay for each thing?" I was like, "My credit card does, I don't" yeah.
Yeah, it's
As long as I have money
the
in my
money
bank
comes in,
account,
the
it's
money
good.
comes out. I
Yeah.
don't know.
He was like, "As long as it's higher than what's going out." I was like, "Yeah."
Exactly.
I check that every
Exactly.
day just to make sure.
Just to make sure. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. Well, good luck with the admin. I like send you all of the blessings. Like, I totally get it. Claudia, this has been so much fun to get to know you. I am like such a big fan. I was already doing the claws and now I'm going to like, I don't know, just keep talking about you all the time. Thank you so much for doing this. And I'll be looking forward to watching you play with the national team and with Seattle. And I'm going to send Lynn this episode because she's going to be so
Oh,
excited that we chatted.
I hope she's jealous. She never talks to me anymore, it's so sad.
Ah,
I know.
Lynn.
No,
Oh
I'm
my
just kidding, but thank you for having
gosh.
me, it was so fun. I told my mom, I was like, "Mom, I get to do something with Sam Mewis." She goes, "That's so cool." I'm like, "I know."
Oh my
So,
God. That is so sweet. Well, tell your mom I say hi and she
I
can listen
will.
to this episode very soon.
Okay, I will.
Thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to have Claudia's song stuck in my head all week. I really loved getting to know her. It actually felt like we have a lot in common. And I find that whenever I speak to this younger generation, I realize that they're handling all the same pressures and questions that I was at their age. So it's really cool to talk to them, knowing what they're going through and hearing about it from their perspective. I'm really excited to see what Claudia does this year for both club and country. Before we let you go, we've got our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. Each week, we want to hear from you. So call and leave us a voicemail at 855-611 4050, and you could be featured on a future episode of Friendlies. Here's our caller this week.
Hi, Sam. My name's Georgia. I'm calling in from Maryland, so I'm a big fan of the Washington Spirit. I'm also a huge fan of your show. In fact, my favorite Christmas gift was a women's game long sleeve. I love listening to you, Becky, Lynn, and Christy whenever I'm on a walk or on a road trip. You all make me laugh out loud and really put me at ease. So thanks for your show. And I also want to just say that I really appreciate the perspective that you're bringing to the women's game and the work that you're doing to bring attention to women's soccer. My question for you relates to college players going pro. So in college, I was a manager for the women's soccer team at the storied University of North Carolina, Go Tar Heels. Recently, Houston Dash signed players Kate Fossey and Linda Olmark to Houston, where Avery Patterson is currently a player. Sam Meza, Maddie Jolene, and Claudia Dickey are also all products of UNC playing together at the Reign. I'm wondering, in this new NWSL era without the draft, do you think teams could try to recruit players together based on where they went to school? And would players maybe want to go to a team where they could play with old friends and former teammates? Let me know what you think, and thanks so much. Go Spirit, go Tar Heels, go Hot Dogs.
Hi, Georgia. Thank you so much for the call. This is super interesting and such a great question. I think that there's certainly a benefit in continuing to play with teammates you played with maybe in college or before. There's like a chemistry and a familiarity that can definitely help on the field. I also think that maybe there's a tendency for clubs to like go back to a school for players based on relationships with the coaching staff or a similar style of play. Like maybe the college team plays similarly to your club team, or even just like having success with a player from that program. I'm imagining like if I got Croy Bethune, I would immediately be going back to Georgia for another player just like her. I know that I played with Abby Dahlkemper in college and then almost all the way through my professional career. And that was something that I think helped us both on the field and definitely contributed positively to the teams that we were on. And I really love the way you're thinking about this. And I hope we see more pairings coming up through the ranks because it's fun to have players that like also have that friendship. It's like fun to get to watch them have chemistry on the field and then be friends off of the field. So I love the way you're thinking about this. And thank you so much for calling in, Georgia. That was our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. And if you want to join us for this segment, the banana phone is open. You can give me a call at 855-611-4050. Just leave a message, ask a question, and then maybe you'll be the next featured listener, thanks to our friends at Verizon. Thank you all so much for being here and for listening, and we'll see you soon.